Out on the frozen stretches of the Great Plains, winter drops the temperature far below zero. The wind cuts across the flat earth with zero resistance. Without specialized shelter, a human will die in these conditions in a matter of minutes. Popular history often paints the teepee as a universal dwelling used by almost all Native Americans. In reality, it was a highly specific piece of survival technology, engineered by an elite class of nomadic hunters who tracked game across these lethal environments. Halfway across the world in the Arctic Circle, the Sami people faced identical challenges. To hunt moving reindeer herds across the tundra, they independently developed the lavu, a structure practically identical in design to the teepee. The conical shape is a matter of pure aerodynamics. When hurricane-force winds hit a square or a dome, the structure creates severe drag and risks collapsing. A steeply pitched cone deflects that kinetic energy, pinning the shelter tighter to the ground. The earliest versions of these structures were relatively small. Before the introduction of horses, nomads relied on dogs to pull their packed camps on wooden sleds called travois, strictly limiting the size and weight of the materials they could carry. But any fire built inside a tightly sealed cone introduces a deadly paradox. A combustion reaction rapidly consumes the available oxygen. Without a way to constantly pull fresh air inside, the engineering solution was a secondary wall called an inner liner. The outer skin of the teepee doesn't actually seal to the earth. There is an intentional 6 to 8 inch gap left open along the bottom exterior. The central fire acts as a pump. As the fire burns, it creates a powerful updraft. Freezing outside air gets sucked down through that ground gap, travels up behind the inner liner, and feeds oxygen straight into the flames. That forces pure, radiant heat into the living space, while venting the toxic smoke strictly out the apex. With that thermodynamic engine running, a nomadic family could sit barefoot inside a 70-degree room while a negative 20-degree blizzard raged on the other side of the canvas. Once the Plains tribes mastered the horse, their hauling capacity multiplied overnight. Dogs were replaced by powerful draft animals, allowing builders to instantly scale up to massive 18-foot teepees. With the sudden increase in square footage, the structure transitioned from a compact survival shelter into a sprawling, multi-generational fortress. Supporting that much weight requires a complex framework. In the Cree tradition, builders rely on an interlocking 15-pole system to secure the massive hides against the wind. Construction begins with a foundational tripod. The first 3 poles represent obedience, respect, and humility. The remaining 12 poles, representing virtues like strength and kinship, lean directly upon that core 3, distributing the physical weight equally across the framework. The architecture of their homes became a literal map of their social philosophy, standing at the center of an expansive nomadic empire. When colonizing forces sought to break the power of the Plains tribes, they quickly realized the difficulty of fighting a highly mobile cavalry on open ground. They deployed a different strategy entirely. The empire had a specific vulnerability. The thermodynamic engine and the heavy structural skin of the teepee relied completely on one material, raw buffalo hide. Sobering, hunters and military units systematically slaughtered the buffalo herds by the millions. The goal was to sever the nomads from their primary natural resource, leaving the carcasses to rot on the plains. Removing the buffalo destroyed the physical materials required to build and maintain the teepee. Without their shelter, the tribes lost their ability to survive the winter and their ability to move, freezing the engine of their society. Depleted of resources, nomadic tribes were forced off the open plains and relocated onto strictly bordered reservations. The mobile encampments became static, permanent settlements. In the Nakota language, the word Teepee translates to where they dwell. The ultimate vehicle for boundless, continuous movement was locked into a stationary perimeter. With the buffalo gone, the heavy, highly insulated hides had to be replaced. Builders were forced to adapt, covering their structures with the highly flammable, vastly inferior canvas issued by the government. Yet the core aerodynamic and thermodynamic design of the teepee remains unsurpassed today. It is actively utilized by off-grid survivalists, high-end expedition companies, and modern ceremonial leaders to conquer the elements. True historical resilience isn't always built from permanent stone and iron. Sometimes it comes from adaptable, brilliant engineering that knows exactly how to harness the wind.